So welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand. True Blue Thai here from Thailand. I hope you're doing well. It is 1 Angkhan here, which is called in Thailand, about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning here in Thailand. And yeah, a bit cloudy again, a bit more blacker cloud today still. It didn't rain yesterday like I said it was going to do. Shock. So, you know, a lot of times they say it's going to rain and it never does. And so what's cool, but whether we're going to have some rain today, I doubt it, I don't know, maybe, probably not. Anyway, so I know there's going to be a national broadcast today on the telephone. It's like an emergency thing, so that's going to go on everybody's phone today. Right, okay, so we've got a game today. We're in Northern Norway, in Bodo, for instance, what's it called, for the Champions League game against Bodo Glint, and for instance, starting at I think 5:45 United Kingdom time, which is 1:45 my time, etc., which is excellent, really. Rather than have that than 3 o'clock in the morning, I can stay up, don't have to go to sleep, but and then wake up. But so, for instance, against Bodo Glint, and yeah, in the Champions League, win this game or get something from this game. What's it called? And we just got Galatasaray next week, etc. Where, for instance, we can kind of maybe rest players. Who knows? Because all we need is 4 points for the next two games. Should do it. Bodo Glint are a team, for instance, who are on the winter break. As somebody who lived in Scandinavia for 10 years. What's it called? Yeah. So, for instance, I've lived and been to Norway and mostly Denmark, etc. But I was in Denmark and Norway and Sverige and Sweden as well. So, for instance, I've got a full. I don't know who they are really, to tell the truth, etc. But for instance, I know about the winter breaks, etc. For instance, because of the weather, and but for instance, and so they've only had, I think, one game prior to this, etc., which was in November, which is their what's it called, a Champions League game as well. So the last Champions League game they had, and they haven't played since. I've only played a few friendlies, etc., but apart from that, they haven't had been tested in football, where Man City are coming in, you know, on back of on our football calendar, and that could make a big difference. Okay, see the players arrived yesterday, see the fans arriving as well, and yeah, so which is great to see the fans. Weather is about 1 degree, I believe, so not as bad as what people think. Again, I think people OTT so many things, etc., and especially Brits, etc. You really do. And the weather, again, I used to live in Scandinavia for 10 years. What's it called? I remember sometimes it was -10 outside, and I was a manager of a cleaning company, and I used to go around to our for instance, sites sometimes, and I used to help the staff. And I used to be running between the sites, and you can't run with the sites with a jacket and whatever on. So I'd not 9 times out of 10. I used to have a polo shirt on, sleeveless polo shirt, because yeah. So for instance, this is the way I would work. So people thought I was crazy, but again, it's a different kind of cold. It's not cold, a wet cold like it is in the UK. For instance, it's a dry cold, and so it's a bit different. And I used to go skiing and bobsleighing and ski jumping in Northern Norway many times, etc. So it's not that bad as what people think. So it's great, really great country. Anyway, so City arrived yesterday with a party of what's it called, which I'll talk about in a minute. What's it called? Nice to see Omar arriving as well. So yeah, so right, we'll talk about that in a second. I just want to jump on the fact that Claudio Echeverria is in Girona now. What's it called? He's a Girona player, which is good for him. Good, better than the German side. He'll get more minutes, and Girona need him at the moment, because we've got Victor Rash and a few other players over there at the moment, and they're struggling against relegation. But you know, they're not doing too bad at the moment. They're better than they have been. So good luck to Girona, and for instance, we welcome the what's it called, Marc Guehi to Manchester City officially. What's it called? Even though, for instance, we all knew, for instance, where he was, etc. But you know, not until the club announced it, etc. And you see him on the writing his signature on the paper, for instance, and having his interview, and a good interview as well. Really encouraging interview about City, and about again, for instance, when Man City come calling, you just want to go, which is great, really. Semenko kind of said the same thing. Well, Man City called, want yeah. Oh, okay, I'm going. It just shows you. It really does. What's it called? Even though he could have had his pick between many other clubs, right now, for instance, it's a smart move for him, I think, because again, for instance, he's got he's on £300,000 a week. To a lot of people, more about why, I just don't know. He's gonna, which just makes up for his signing on bonus. He's got his now future settled now. Can focus on. He might even win a Premier League, Champions League, or League Cup, FA Cup medal this morning, who knows. But also, for instance, he can go to England now and focus on England and not have to worry about going for with other clubs going for him. So it's a great deal for him, great deal for Man City. Shows up our defence. Ruben Dias will come back soon. So for instance, at the moment, etc., I think it'll do well. So for instance, that's exactly, and he's a player for the future, captain of Crystal Palace. But for instance, I think it's a great idea for him to come to Manchester City. And said I've seen rival fans, Liverpool fans, not happy at all about it at all, and so funny to watch and see. But again, people moaning about our transfers. I think it's just so stupid. I was listening to LB on Saeed criticising Man City, how much money we spent in the transfer window. It's honestly, tell you the truth, my Christ, we got Semenko and we got Marc Guehi for 60, 85 million quid, where United got Sesko for 75 million quid. I'm sorry, come on, it's seriously, can you compare it? If they could have got Semenko for 20 million quid, they would have done it, honestly, seriously. To sit there and moan about Man City's transfer window is just policy. It's just ridiculous, and paying him £300,000 a week. He's going to get that. He would get that. And again, if you are that, he's a 75 million pound player. If we're about to pay that in the summer, and put him on £200,000 a week, or pay him, which is, we would have to pay more than what we've done right now. So, and also have had to compete with many other players, teams. He might have had to might have even cost more than 75 million. Who knows? So I think it's a fantastic business by Manchester City, and basically the players we're bringing in makes up for the transfer window in the summer transfer windows, which we brought nobody in, but we let people go, for instance, and we didn't replace them. And so the likes of KDB, which is off a salary, a massive salary, £400,000 a week. They Jack Grealish, £300,000 a week. You got people like lost Akanji, we've lost a few other players. We just basically rebuilding the squad. So we're bringing players in, but also the maximum we've paid, I think it was about 60 million, maybe Omar, but that's about it. Other than that, everybody else is very, very cheap. The players we got, how much we play for Ryan Cherky, how much we play for the players we bringing in. So and when we lose, we'll lose Nathan Aki, we'll lose for instance John Stones, we'll lose Bernardo Silva, for instance, and we got to replace them, and all we're doing is replacing them. So all this talk about Man City and how much money we're spending, it's just pure garbage. It really is. All we're doing is bringing in new in anticipation of the players leaving, to which they will at the summertime, and then we're just doing our transfer business a bit earlier. That's all. And making up for the bad summer transfer windows, which we didn't do. In a couple of seasons, etc. The only person we brought in was Savinho, and nothing else. Where everybody else is spending millions and millions and millions. And again, for Arsenal fans, sit there and talk about Man City, the size of Arsenal's bench, and how many people you've got on there. Did they cost 10 pence? They're proven Premier League players, etc. Or bench warming. The size of Arsenal's squad, United, they can't spend. Spent over £1 billion, and what's that got them? Nothing. The only thing United have got to celebrate is the fact that they beat Man City, and they got something against and that's it. The odd win game for £1 billion, over £1 billion now. and they haven't got any money. What's it called now for January? So bad as sounds, but from what they told Ramarin. So how the hell United can actually talk about Man City's transfer window? It's just pathetic. It really is. It's just pure and utter jealousy. So they can go stiff as well. So, let's talk about the game. So we arrived yesterday. What's it called? We had Pep's had Pep and Nico O'Reilly has had a pre-match press conference. This is the squad we've taken up there. Donnarumma, Trafford, Benelli, midfielders, Rodri, Gray, Reinders, Foden, Cherki, Mosake, Lewis, Noble, Alain, Kuzinov, Aki, defenders, I ignore it, and O'Reilly, midfielders, Rodri, Gray, Reinders, Foden, Cherki, and Mosaka, and forwards, Mamouche, Haaland, Doku, and Samba. Yeah, so, but again, for instance, if we cannot beat this team, etc., then for instance, with the squad, with that squad we've got, then there's something seriously wrong. Okay, and so regardless of the weather conditions, love to see Ryan Cherki, by the way, for us to go to. I think the only player, for instance, walking around with a pair of shorts on. Good lad. Anyway, so let's have a quick review of the game, So Bodo Glint qualified for the league stage of the Champions League for the first time in the history of the 24-25 season, but the Superliga have endured a difficult league campaign. I think they're quite low down, aren't they? Kyle Kudson side are currently placed 32 in the league phase, standing with just 3 points from their 6 games, having recorded 3 draws and 3 defeats, leaving Bodo Glint as one of just 4 teams still secure a victory in the league phase. As a result, Bodo Glint trail the top 24 by 4 points, and will with only 2 games remaining in the Superliga are likely to remain need to maximum points if any chance of progressing into the knockout round in the competition. So it's a massive win to them. But again, with the stats and also the match fitness, and a lot of things could happen here. Bodo Glint will have an advantage of having played just 2 games. Will have an advantage having just played 2 games. That is not an advantage at all. You need to talk about match fitness. 2 games since the return of the year, with both friendly games due to the end of the domestic season in late November, meaning that they will be far fresher than Manchester City. Fresher? I don't know. I'm not so. It's like me when I run. If I run every 2 days, like I try to do so, for instance. But if I leave it once every 2 weeks, etc., when I come back, I might be fresher. I won't be as fitter, and I've got to really take care of my muscles, etc., for instance, and everything. So I'm sorry, I'm not buying this what these people are saying at the moment. Pep Guardiola's side have already competed in 6 fixtures since the return of the year, and the Citizens have struggled for form in that time, only scoring 2 victories, with one against League One victory Exeter, along 3 draws and then defeats. Right, okay, you can say that, for instance, with that, you can say that, and that is true. We've had 3 draws and a defeat in the Premier League. Not good. But the thing is, apart from the Rags defeat, that was our first defeat in 13-15 games. Okay, so we talk about, yes, it was the bad defeat, exactly, but the fact is, and United turned up for once. So, but again, you got to look at it into context. We were still second in the league. We're still, it was our first defeat in 15 games, etc. Come on, let's just, it's not the end of the world, Man City's most recent outing is a miserable 2-0 against Bodo. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Okay, never mind. Man City manager will be hoping to return to the Champions League action with the Citizens having won 4 and drawn 1 of their and lost only 1 of their last league fixtures 6 league fixtures, which will see his side to return to winning ways and spark and improve running results. Yeah, I expect the next 3 results, etc., to go Man City's way. We've got Bodo, Glint, then we've got Wolves, and then at home, and then, for instance, who are better, but we should be beating Wolves at home, and then we've got Galatasaray. So if we cannot get 3 wins out of there, then I'll question City. But I expect Man City 3 wins out of those. A win could also be crucial for Man City's flight to the top 8 places in the Champions League standings, as they currently lead 9th place Liverpool by just 1 point, with 15 players Barcelona and only 3 points behind the Citizens with 2 games remaining. Therefore, a victory against Bodo Glint in the penultimate fixture, followed by a clash with Galatasaray next week, could prove vital in strengthening their chances to top 8. Yeah, exactly. So, for instance, win these, get 4 points in the next 2 games, etc., automatically can succeed. We'll win there. And me personally, I think we'll get 6 points in the next 2 games. Despite Manchester City's recent difficulties, they remain unbeaten on the road in this competition, and this term with 2 wins and 1 draw remaining. When they will draw confidence from going into the meeting with Bodo Glint. Yeah, sorry about the noise. Welcome to Thailand. So anyway, so guys, all we need to do is just go out and do what we need to do. Again, Bodo Glint. This is Bodo Glint's Champions League form. Played 6, lost 3, drawn 3. In Man City's Champions League form, 1-4, played 6, 1-4, lost 1, drew 1. Okay, so there you go. Nice, I finished. Okay, so again, right. So Bodo Glint will be out. Team news: Bodo Glint will be out. Remain really out. Josking Goodison, who will serve a third game from suspension of a red card against AS Monaco in early November. Aspinyra is also sidelined with a host due to a hamstring injury, meaning that Aldin Birdlöf Bjorntuf could partner Vilde Nielsen in central defence. Elsewhere, Jens Pater Helsen has scored 3 goals in his 6 appearances with Bodo Glint, and as they look forward to make a difference here. Meanwhile, City will be out. Yeah, well, we know Man City are out. Foden's Foden's got a broken bone. That's what. So he had a heavily cast hand. He normally plays with a bandage on his hand, regardless. But he had a heavy cast on. When I saw him in training before. Antonio Semenyo will unavailable. Yes, we already know. Marc Guehi won't be available. Guardiola will make several changes after the lacklustre performance. Ryan Cherky, Tiana Reinders and Ryan Ignori could come into the starting lineup. I expect that. Right, okay, starting lineups for City. Let's go to Norway. So Bodo, starting lineup. Okay, here we go. Hakim, Sjövod, Nielsen, Bjorntuf, Bjornkan, Evian, Berg, Fett, Blumberg, Hoy, Hug. Hoy and Hoy. Okay, right, okay. City, Donnarumma, Lewis, Kazanov, Alain, Ignori, Cherky, Reinders, O'Reilly, Mosaka, Doyle, Tone, Doku, and Haaland. Don't know if Mosaka will start. Don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Haaland maybe, maybe, and then he'll come off and be replaced by Mamouche. He's just come back from the AFCON, so he's gone from African weather, so about 30 degrees to this. Although City's recent results may leave much to be desired, the Citizens have superb in this competition, and Bodo Glint's Champions League struggles will be anticipated here. A 3-1 victory to Man City, according to this website. Yeah, which is probably something I expected as well. I'm going for a City win. No doubts about it. I've got again, for instance, they're going to struggle for form. They're not playing well. They're playing against it's like Man City playing against Exeter again. So they've probably been after some time. They'll be able to maybe on a what's it called? Maybe they'll. I know Juventus got a 2-2 there or something, but I know we've got to watch out. But I think I think over the period of the game, etc. Maybe it'll start off tight at the beginning. Might City get an early goal, and then for instance, the second half we'll just control the game. In the second half, I expect, as the experience and knowledgeable and the fitness levels of the two teams, etc., will show. I'm sure there'll be a good crowd. I'm sure it'll be be interesting. But I expect the Northern Lights to look nice. But I've seen them as well. They look amazing, fantastic. Saw them on the water. I was actually on a cruise and saw them going over. Amazing. Got to be seen. Anyway, but other than that, for instance, I'm pretty confident we'll get back to winning ways. And the fact is, we got when we come back in goals, we will have the fact Semenko, and we'll have the fact that I expect to see Marc Guehi going straight into the defensive lineup, which will help us, as well as Omar and Huff, and so we've got to look at the positives. Okay, I think the United game was one-off. Okay, and with them, they are the one-off. Man City will go on from this. United will just go back to where what United do. Do you think they can beat Arsenal? I'd be very surprised. It'd be nice if they did, but I doubt it. But they'll just go back to where they are. So, for instance, because it's just the way they do. So I'm full confident about City today. So, for instance, I'll be looking forward to talking to you tomorrow with the Manchester City win. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. True Blue Tie from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking, what's on your mind, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. And if you can ask me questions about Thailand, if you do so wish, if you're coming over here and you're worried about visas, etc. So, for instance, because there's a lot going on at the moment, especially with the border run thing. Okay, anyway, guys, gonna love you and leave you. True Blue Tie from Thailand.